Imagine this. You're watching a world leader deliver a speech, or a celebrity on stage during an award ceremony. The crowd is hypnotized. Cameras flash, the stage glows. But somewhere deep inside you feel it. Something is off. An invisible tension, a signal you can't quite decode. Look closer at their hands. The subtle movement of a thumb, a finger aligned with uncanny precision. A gesture that feels rehearsed, yet strangely ritualistic. For most, it's simply body language. But for those who know what to watch for, it's a secret script playing out in plain sight. What if these movements aren't random at all? What if they're part of an ancient system of mind control? A silent ritual unfolding on the world's stage, hidden behind the glamour of power and fame. Throughout history, secret societies have used symbols, rituals, and hidden technology to pass knowledge and influence unseen. Could it be that these codes are still alive today, broadcast through every speech, every performance, every gesture, waiting for someone like you to notice? Have you ever felt that strange pull as if a message was being sent without words? Did you ever question why certain signs appear again and again in the hands of leaders, artists, and icons? What you'll discover now may surprise you, and may forever change the way you see public figures, their symbols, and their hidden agendas. Write in the comments, "I see the hidden signs," if you're ready to see beyond the surface. Subscribe to this channel to continue decoding what others ignore, because what comes next will open doors you never knew existed, and reveal a stage far larger and far more controlled than anyone dares to admit. To truly understand what unfolds before our eyes today, we must step back, not just decades, but centuries. Imagine dimly lit halls in Bavaria, 1776, where the first whispers of the Illuminati took shape. Candles flicker, parchment rustles, and behind closed doors, decisions are made that would ripple through time. But even before the Bavarian Order, the Knights Templar held ceremonies shrouded in secrecy, their rituals echoing with a power few dared to question. In these hidden gatherings, knowledge was more than information. It was weaponry and symbols. Symbols were the keys, gestures of the hand, subtle movements of the body, codes inscribed not on stone but on the human psyche itself. They were signs designed to bypass the conscious mind, to slip like shadows into the subconscious, to influence without being seen. Old apocryphal documents, like the alleged Codex Occultus of 1781, describe how these occult rituals were crafted, not as mere performances but as instruments of manipulation. Each sign, each motion held layers of meaning. A raised finger, a concealed grip, a tilt of the head, every detail precise, calculated. These were ancient codes meant to awaken hidden power in those who understood, and to exert psychological influence over those who did not. In the hands of secret societies, this forbidden knowledge became a tool of mind control long before the term existed. But the past does not stay buried. Its echoes are everywhere. Look at the architecture of modern power. Government buildings, financial institutions, even entertainment stages. Hidden symbols carved into stone, woven into logos, whispered in the choreography of public gestures. You may think you are looking at a random handshake, a harmless pose in a photograph, a coincidence of posture, but the patterns repeat with eerie precision, across continents, across centuries, across languages, and still the crowd applauds, unaware of the unseen forces shaping perception, steering emotion, planting ideas like seeds in fertile soil. Have you ever wondered why the same gestures resurface across leaders who have nothing in common? Why the same hand signs flash in music videos, political rallies, and televised rituals disguised as spectacles? Why shadows of ancient orders seem to flicker behind the glossy images of modern icons? This is not nostalgia for old conspiracies. It's their survival, their adaptation, their mastery of hidden technology of influence. Write in the comments, "I will not be controlled," if you feel the stir of awakening inside you now. If you sense that the veil is thinner than you were told. Because what lingers at the edge of our perception is older than we imagine. These secret currents still move beneath the stage of public life, waiting to surface in ways few are prepared to see. And as we peel back another layer of these rituals and their true purpose, we begin to glimpse something even more unsettling. A pattern so vast, so deliberate, it challenges the very story we think we're living. Look closer now. Forget the noise, the lights, the applause. Focus on the hands. The triangle, the pyramid shape formed by fingers, so casual, so familiar. To the public, it's just a popular gesture. To the trained eye, it is a declaration. In the language of hidden symbols, It represents the all-seeing eye, the invisible apex of a structure of power, the elite at the top watching the base below. This shape, repeated across stages, podiums, interviews, and photo ops, is not simply aesthetic. It's a relic of ancient codes. It is an invocation. It is a signal. It is a reminder that the watchers are still there, and yet most never question it. Most never see it. Consider the hidden hand. In old paintings, leaders like Napoleon are captured with one hand tucked into their coat. Historians call it a pose of dignity, a fashion of the time. But within the whispers of secret societies, this gesture is not a coincidence. It is a pledge, a silent oath of loyalty to an unseen lineage. It marks the initiated, signaling to others that they belong to the same dark agenda. Look at portraits of statesmen, generals, bankers. The pattern is the same, century after century. These are not random choices. These are occult rituals in motion, coded within public displays. Even the seemingly innocent OK sign, the fingers curled just so, has deeper layers when performed with unusual emphasis. In esoteric texts, circles and triple points represent cycles of power, the manipulation of perception, the trinity of control, thought, emotion, and action. Every gesture becomes a key, opening a door in the subconscious. They bypass your logical mind, sliding like shadows into your memory. They plant associations, emotions, reactions, and you respond without knowing why. This is psychological influence disguised as tradition, a form of mind control hidden in plain sight. Have you ever noticed how these gestures appear at the same moments of high emotion? Announcements of war, global crises, celebrity spectacles. The timing is perfect. The symbols are familiar enough to feel harmless, but precise enough to activate recognition in those who know. This is not improvisation. It is choreography. It is a network of signals stretching across decades and borders. It is forbidden knowledge still alive, breathing through hand signs, emblems, and stagecraft. Write, "I will not be controlled" in the comments if you feel the awakening, if you sense that the pattern is no longer invisible. And yet, this is only the surface, because behind each gesture lies a story, a lineage, a current of power that does not want to be seen. Each sign is both a mask and a map. Follow them far enough and they lead not just to individuals, but to systems. Systems that have evolved, hidden, adapted, yet never disappeared. What begins as a simple shape of fingers might trace back to rituals older than nations themselves, and to forces whose reach is still unfolding before our eyes. Now, let's step deeper. Imagine for a moment that gestures are only the trigger, a door left slightly open. What if the real message slips through something even more invisible? Sound. Think of the mass media spectacles you've seen, the televised speeches, the stadium shows where thousands gather under one rhythm. There is always a sound, a pulse, a frequency under the words. Not just music, not just noise, but a pattern. A low hum beneath the applause, a hidden beat beneath the anthem. Most never notice it. Most never ask why. Yet your body reacts. Your breathing shifts. Your thoughts slow. The gesture catches your eye, and the sound slips through the gap. Some researchers whisper about the Augsburg Protocol of 1924, a secret plan born from the aftermath of war, when psychology and propaganda became weapons. The theory suggests that certain secret societies experimented with combining hidden symbols and specific sound frequencies to amplify psychological influence. An occult ritual for the modern age. The gesture activates the subconscious. The sound delivers the message. Together they form a double key, opening a part of the mind your rational self doesn't guard. This is forbidden knowledge, disguised as entertainment, as ceremony, as tradition. Look closer at how major broadcasts are choreographed. The visual cuts, the lighting pulses, the sudden drop of silence before a surge of sound. These are not accidents, they are triggers. Even in speeches of power, you can hear it. Subtle tonal shifts, coded pauses, almost musical inflections repeating across decades and leaders. Hidden power moves not just through symbols, but through frequencies. Ancient codes rewritten into vibrations, pass through microphones and speakers instead of parchment and ink. The shadows of old rituals echoing as sound instead of chant. You may think hypnosis requires a swinging watch or a soft voice, but what if mass hypnosis requires only repetition and resonance? The right gesture at the right moment, the right frequency at the right pitch, repeated enough times to imprint itself on the collective mind. A dark agenda hidden in plain sight, shaping emotions, reactions, beliefs. Not an overt command, but a nudge, a subtle manipulation so deep that by the time you feel it, you already agree with it. The unseen has learned to sing. Have you ever felt chills at a concert when nothing emotional was said? Have you noticed your heartbeat syncing with a crowd, your hands clapping without thinking, your voice chanting words you don't remember learning? These are not just cultural phenomena. They are windows. They are channels. They are a new language of control. The question is no longer whether hidden symbols exist. It's whether you can still hear the truth behind the sound, whether you can still sense when your own frequency shifts. Because if gestures are the spark, then what waits inside the vibration could be the fire. Open your eyes now. Look at the images you've seen scrolling across your screen. Not just once, but over and over again. An influential banker in Davos clasping his fingers in that unmistakable pattern. A pop star at the height of global fame, flashing the same gesture during a televised performance. A politician in a heated debate, opposite in ideology, yet mirroring the same movement of the hands as if rehearsed in the same room. From the glimmering stages of Hollywood to the quiet corridors of Washington, the choreography repeats. It's not a coincidence. It's statistically improbable. It's a script, a silent demonstration of power and control that transcends borders, cultures, and generations. When you begin to compare these snapshots, a map starts to appear. Hidden symbols connecting figures who publicly appear to oppose each other, yet privately echo the same signs. These are not random quirks of body language. They are fragments of ancient codes adapted to the modern spectacle. Secret societies have always thrived on the unseen. Occult rituals hidden behind tradition. Forbidden knowledge dressed as culture. But now their language is global, broadcast in high definition, applauded without comprehension. What you see on the surface is entertainment, policy, leadership. What moves beneath is manipulation, a dark agenda engineered to mold perception and steer the collective subconscious. Think about how these moments are timed. Just before a major announcement, just after a crisis breaks, when the eyes of millions are fixed on a single stage, the gesture signals allegiance, the frequency primes the audience. The hidden power acts through psychological influence rather than overt force. The masses think they are watching politics, or music, or finance, but in truth they are witnessing a ritual of control, an occult ritual without candles or robes, but with cameras and headlines instead. And while the crowd debates the surface message, the unseen message slips through untouched, shaping belief and memory alike. What's most unsettling is not just that these signs appear everywhere, but that they persist across time. Leaders fall, regimes collapse, celebrities fade, yet the symbols endure. They outlive the faces who carry them. It is as if the individuals are not the point at all. They are merely vessels, puppets moving in a performance written long before their birth. This is how forbidden knowledge operates, not by convincing, but by conditioning. Not by speech, but by ritual. By the time you notice the pattern, it has already sunk into you. And so the real question is no longer whether these people know what they're doing. The real question is, who is writing the script? Who stands in the shadows, pulling the strings, orchestrating gestures and sounds into a language of control? And if the stage is this carefully prepared, what lies behind the curtain you're not supposed to see? They have always thrived in silence. Their power does not emerge from open force, but from the comfort of shadows, from the certainty that the crowd will never look behind the curtain. Mind control does not begin with machines or hypnotists. It begins with a subtle agreement not to question. The dark agenda survives because we have been taught to dismiss it as myth, to laugh at hidden symbols, to call ancient codes a coincidence. Secret societies understand something simple but devastating. Manipulation works best when its target believes it does not exist. And yet, something shifts the moment you begin to see. Once you recognize the patterns, they cannot be unseen. Gestures that once seemed trivial become signposts. Logos that once looked like design choices reveal themselves as maps. Occult rituals hidden inside entertainment lose their disguise. The forbidden knowledge ceases to be forbidden the moment it's named, and the spell starts to crack. You step out of the trance. You leave the crowd and begin to watch the magicians. And their tricks, so impressive, so invisible, lose power under the light of awareness. This is the first fracture in psychological influence. Awareness is not immunity, but it is the seed of awakening. But awareness alone is not enough. Hidden power adapts. It cloaks itself in new language, new symbols, new frequencies. The unseen evolves as quickly as it is exposed. Every revelation births a counter-narrative. Every awakening is followed by a new performance. Conspiracies survive because they do not exist only in structures, but in perception, in how we are trained to see and not see. The manipulation does not stop when you notice it. It shifts. It tempts you with new distractions, new shadows, new stories that appear to explain but only confuse. This is why secret societies have endured for centuries while empires rose and fell. They live in the blind spot of our attention, not just in locked rooms. And yet, every symbol decoded is a thread pulled from the fabric of the unseen. Each time you recognize a pattern, you weaken its hold. Each time you refuse to participate in a ritual disguised as culture, you reclaim a piece of your own sovereignty. This is not paranoia. It is discernment. A quiet act of defiance. It is how the spell begins to break. Because the hidden symbols have no inherent power without belief. Occult rituals are only effective when performed on an unaware audience. Once the audience understands the language, the performance falters. The shadows become transparent. The dark agenda becomes clumsy, visible, almost desperate. Still, this is not the end of the story. For every person who awakens, there are millions still asleep, millions still moved by gestures and sounds without knowing why. The question is not only what you see, but what you will do with that vision. Will you retreat into fear? Will you dismiss it as too heavy? Or will you keep looking, even when the next layer appears, even when the next symbol hides in plain sight? The forbidden knowledge was never about books or rituals. It was about awareness. Awareness that cannot be taught in a single moment but must be chosen over and over again. The Great Awakening is not an event. It is a practice. It is noticing. It is asking the question when everyone else remains silent. It is tracing the line of hidden symbols through history and realizing that each one leads not to an answer but to another doorway. You are no longer in the audience. You are walking behind the stage. The magicians know you are there. They adjust their tricks. And still you keep moving closer. Because once your eyes open, the unseen cannot hide the same way again. Now that your eyes are open, what other symbols will you begin to see woven into your everyday life? What hidden codes, what subtle gestures, what frequencies disguised as noise are still shaping your thoughts even as you listen to these words? And what lies beyond them, waiting to be uncovered, waiting for someone willing to look just a little deeper? And now, after everything we've uncovered together, you begin to realize something essential. The true power of these secret societies, these hidden symbols, these occult rituals, does not come only from what they show, but from what we fail to question. Their manipulation feeds on silence, on distraction, on the assumption that none of this matters. But once the veil is lifted, even slightly, the world never looks the same again. Every gesture, every sound, every symbol becomes a fragment of a larger puzzle, a forbidden knowledge hiding in plain sight. You have walked with me through shadows, through the labyrinth of mind control and psychological influence, through the echoes of ancient codes that still guide the movements of modern puppets. You have seen how the dark agenda does not shout, it whispers. It whispers through architecture, through music, through gestures performed on the world stage as if they meant nothing. But now you know, now you feel the weight of those revelations. And when the unseen becomes visible, the awakening begins. But here's the truth, this is not the end. It is only a step. For every hidden sign we expose, another waits in silence, woven into culture, entertainment, politics, religion. That is why this channel exists. To continue revealing what most refuse to see, to follow the trail of symbols through history and into the present, exposing the strings that pull at our collective mind. If you want to keep uncovering these truths, if you feel the resonance of what has been revealed here tonight, make sure you stay with us. Subscribe to this channel, not as an act of routine, but as a declaration that you choose to see, that you choose awakening over illusion, and I want you to mark this moment. Leave a sign here, a symbolic statement, so that everyone who reaches this far will know that they are not alone in their search. Write in the comments, "I see the hidden truth," or "No one will control my mind." Let these words be more than comments. Let them be proof of your awareness, proof that the spell is breaking. If this message has stirred something inside you, if the rhythm of these revelations resonated with your own thoughts, leave a like on this video. Not as a gesture for algorithms, but as a way of saying, I hear, I see, I awaken. It is your silent affirmation, your way of amplifying the signal against the shadows. And then, don't stop here. This is a journey, not a conclusion. What waits in the next video is not repetition, but continuation. Another thread in this web of conspiracies, another revelation pulled from the silence. Because the story is larger than one moment, larger than one ritual, larger than one stage, and those who watch carefully know there is always another sign, always another mask ready to fall. The symbolism is everywhere. You've seen it, you felt it, perhaps even in films you once loved, in music videos that seemed harmless, in the architecture of your own city. Now I leave you with this question. Which of these hidden signs has unsettled you the most? Comment below, share your observation, and together we will expose the truth. The journey does not end here. The shadows still stretch further, and the next revelation waits, just beyond the edge of sight.